you both. I don't expect you to put more in than what you do because you don't have the time. I get it. But if I'm away for 6 weeks, I'm not going to do this. I'm not just going to set it up for you. We're live, by the way. I'm not going to set it up for you.
Hey guys.
For you to come, I'm not going to set it up for you to come in, press a button and host the thing. If you want to host tonight, come sit in the chair. I don't care.
It's not about that.
It's got nothing to do with your hosting abilities. It's everything else that comes with it.
You're getting too personal about this.
It's not. It's nothing to do with it.
Jordan's already said he's got a replacement for his role to set up for me and Jules.
He hasn't got his mic ready yet. I'll go to him in a minute. We spoke. He told me he can't do it on Sunday, and I said to you, don't let him change your fucking mind. I told you not to let him change your mind.
$50 extra, Jordan, in your pocket,
this
buddy.
This is rubbish. Anyway, we're live. You haven't said a word yet. I'm gonna throw to you straight away after this. But anyway,
including GST.
I'm already over it tonight. It was clean. It was clinical. Like, we executed to perfection.
Now, I'd like to actually go into a few stats because, and I questioned Charlie about a month or so ago.
That is so frustrating as a fan. All you needed was an extra 2-3%.
On the podcast, you're a shit person. You're arrogant. You're obnoxious. I'm sick of it. And I reckon I've got 2 more episodes in me.
Accountability.
Hey, shut up.
We're just happy.
Shut up. Welcome, everyone, to episode 150. Do you want to host tonight? Do one of you want to do it? I told you 2 weeks ago.
I'll do it next week.
Do you want to do it tonight?
I want to do it next week.
Do you want to do it tonight? Nah. I asked him today. He messages me going, where's my run sheet? That's not how it works, Chich.
I don't think you understand how busy I am.
Oh, yeah. Got to face up. Face up. Shut up, Jules. Welcome, everyone, to episode 152 of the Almost Blues Brothers podcast, part of the Blue Broad Media Network, and proudly powered in 2025 by Mavros Studios. That's a genuine sip from
He's
Jules.
actually necked it.
Do you know how thirsty I am? I've necked that many of these
Listen,
already.
it's a big night for us. It's a big win. We've got a big show. We're up and about. Well, you can feel the
excited.
energy is very, very much up and about tonight. So it's good to be here. We're actually about 10 weeks into doing this for us this year. I think it's about 8 weeks or so. What we're talking about pre-show, you guys don't need to worry about. It's about for when I go away, they want to run. They want to run just this part of it, but Joe and Jordan have to do everything else for them.
They don't need to know, but now they know.
Half pregnant.
Hold on.
Half pregnant, both of you.
Hold on. Let me talk. You're not giving the listeners proper context.
Give them context.
You've made it as though it's impossible.
It's not.
For me and Jules to do the show live.
It's not. You just don't want to learn. You weren't here.
It's not about learning. It's about
using
using resources to our disposal.
Anyway, it's a big
Angus.
night. It's a big night tonight. Jordan, are you connected? You are?
Yeah, I'm connected.
All right, here we go. I don't know if that's is that coming through? Can you hear it? Anyway, like I said, we're part of the Blue Broad Media Network, as we always are, but in 2025, as we say every week, we're in the beautiful Mavros Studios here in Preston on Bell Street. It's been fantastic to be in here every week.
It's been good.
Inspirational.
It's the biggest upgrade that we've ever had on this show. And it's a big thank you to Jordan, who runs Mavros Studios, and we've got him on the mic tonight, like a Jamie for us, Jules.
Yeah, I'll try to be a Jamie. Do my best.
So if you are, I don't know if there's anyone that watches us that
Likes us.
Well, people definitely don't like a couple of us, but I don't know. There's probably a few people out there that have seen the podcast, maybe thinking about starting your own. If you are, it's the perfect studio to come into. Jordan can help you out with everything. He hooks us up with the mics, cameras. He's here every other week, and as you can hear tonight, he can even be a bit of a side producer for you.
Yeah. So I'll be trying to help out tonight a bit, and I just want to give a quick shout out to a few people that I know who listen to the podcast.
He's using airtime.
Yeah. Now, first of all, number one, Shannon Gore, play with footy at her. Just kicked her 100th goal on the weekend. She's a loyal listener, and I see it every week in the comments.
Really? Yeah. Kicked her 100th goal.
Yeah. She's a big bagger, as everybody knows.
She'll be watching tonight.
Yeah. And the second shout out I want to give is Carl DeAngelis. He's a Collingwood supporter, but he's probably the Almost Blues Brothers #1 supporter. So Carl,
No way.
if you're listening, a big shout out to you, mate, and a big smiling. But just before I put it back to the boys, I want to quickly highlight what Mavros Studios is. We're a podcast studio for hire for creators. So if you want to be the next Joe Rogan or the next Almost Blues Brothers, you can hire our studio. We've got everything here. It might be a little bit more professional than these guys. And yeah, we've been having a few tech issues recently, but please know it's got nothing to do with the equipment here.
Well, even on that note, Jordan he's that good with his time. During the week, he actually stayed after hours. I came in. We had a look at what some of the issues might have been with the audio that we've been having recently. Obviously, last week was a bit tough as well, but I think we've sorted it out, and that's
Yeah.
Like he'll do everything for you. So if you are looking to start a podcast, if you're looking for a space to do something like this, or even just record, you can just do audio as well in here.
Yeah. You can do whatever you want.
It doesn't have to be a YouTube thing. If you've got an idea and you want to bring it to life, Mavros Studios in Preston, just off Bell Street, Hotham Street, Jules.
Hotham Street, that's it.
It's the only street.
8 Hotham Street?
84 Hotham
84.
Street, Preston.
That's close. 1 digit off.
It's the only street Jules knows in the northern suburbs.
What else do I need to know, man?
Anyway, so it's a big. I just want to give some love to obviously Jordan tonight at the studio, the sponsors that we've got as well. We're about 8 weeks into this, and they're bringing it to life this year for us. So rather than us doing what we usually do and go, "How's your weekend?" This and that, we'll do that in the review because we were together. We were together for the weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll do that then. But we want to give some love to the sponsors tonight. Jules, second sponsor. Well, first sponsor that we've got is one that you just hammer every week. And when I say hammer, just gobble it down.
Yeah. What is it? 3099?
Yeah, show it to the camera.
This one or all of
Yeah,
them?
well, no, just that one.
Well, this one here apparently is inspirational. It's a salt and vinegar jerky. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is.
I actually haven't tried it.
This is
Which-
first taste
and
test.
This is live.
Taste test, obviously live. Joe, you've got big raps on this one.
I love it.
Yes or no?
I think it's a bit different to a lot of other jerky that I've had. Salt and vinegar, you never come across with jerky. So
Yeah, but by far at the moment, the original is the one
number
to
one.
beat.
Yeah, and the teriyaki like as well.
Yeah, teriyaki.
Yeah, we've got the garlic here we've been eating in the last couple of weeks. But while you're chomping down on this, because you're not going to be able to eat and talk,
His
so
lips are
give
still
it a
salty.
give it a go. Give it a go. Give me the packet. Give it a go. 3099 jerky. They're in Diamond Creek. If you do like your jerky, you can go to 3099jerky.com.
The veins out.
Yes, good. How good's that?
I'm actually shocked. Shocked, yeah.
At how
Like,
good that
very
is.
surprised how
Yeah.
good that is.
Yeah, I thought that was a. I didn't know what reaction that was, but it's good. I told you you'd like
No,
it.
inspirational.
So 3099jerky.com. If you like your jerky, you can order online. It's some of the best jerky definitely the best jerky you've ever had because
Yeah,
the way that
definitely.
you go on. I had to bring in 2 packs for you tonight to take home.
yeah, would you give me the teriyaki and the garlic one?
Smoky
no?
barbecue.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's one you like as well. So 3099jerky.com. That's first sponsor we want to give a shout out to tonight.
I'll tell you this much. I might be taking this one home as well.
Yeah, there you go.
You like it that much?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. St. David Dairy, I'll give them a shout out. So St. David Dairy, cafe in North Fitzroy. I know we say this every week, just stick with us for now. But St. David Dairy, cafe concept store in North Fitzroy. If you're looking for a good brunch spot to get down to, they do all of that sort of stuff that you usually get. It's not your typical cafe vibe, but what they do have is genuinely some of the best coffee that I've ever had. They got the best ice cream, which we'll go to. I know you're bugging me about it every week. And when I say the best milk, hands down the best milk, not only out of the bottle, but you can get it on tap there.
Can you take this one down and then bring it into the studios?
Refill.
I can.
Maybe we can skull
I can.
a glass.
I can. Yeah, I actually can.
So got milk on tap.
On tap.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
asking.
you can take like your glass bottle or a refillable bottle down there and you can fill it up every week.
I could just take like a tin of Milo and that as well.
What is it, 7-Eleven
let me do
Slurpee
that.
Day? You can take your pots and
Well,
pans.
hey, let me bring a thing of
I
Milo.
don't know, maybe they will. Maybe they will. But it's fantastic.
We'll go down.
If you need a brunch spot down there in North Fitzroy, St. David Dairy. Final sponsor, Dan.
Vortep.
Off you go.
Sports apparel. Dan Petrov is the founder, a close mate of ours. And now, boys, I use this for my business. Guys, it is that comfortable, it's a joke.
You've worn it for years.
Years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been a sponsor of ours for a couple of years now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Vortep?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
So,
the second year that
honestly,
he's
like
done
a lot of listeners have ordered from him as well, and they've been real happy with what they've got. But I would recommend.
it. You wear
honestly,
it every day. Literally every day.
I wear it every day, and it lasts. But the hoodies, unbelievable.
Yeah, very comfy.
The trackies are like the Nike. You might as well just buy it from Vortep than going to Nike because it's the same quality. I'd be doing that if I were you. You're dumb.
You're dumb. And as an Almost Blues Brothers listener as well, Daniel Petrov has set up a 10% code. Almost Blues Brothers, one word at checkout. You get 10% off your Vortep gear there. Tees, hoodies, trackies, shorts, Tech Fleece now
Tech Fleece.
as well.
He's got a new. He's brought out a new line with Tech Fleece. What
Material.
jumpers?
Yeah.
The way.
It's like a zip up.
It's like a zip up. Yeah, I've worn it. It's really good.
Yeah, very good. So that's it. We wanted to give a big shout out to the sponsors tonight. They've made this happen this year, and as well as Jordan at Mavros. So that's the first 10 minutes of the show, boys. Without any further ado,
Get into it. What about the next one?
You know how this comes as well? It doesn't come like that. It comes with a little satchel with the salt and vinegar. You tip it in and you just shake it.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, before the show.
Yeah.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Like, look at that.
All right,
Honestly.
on to the footy. Boys, are we back or are we back?
Listen,
Did we ever leave?
no. How good was it waking up on a Monday morning after that?
Unbelievable. Genuinely
Seriously.
unbelievable.
Genuine spring in our steps this morning.
Nah, you can feel it with the energy in the studio
Everyone's
tonight.
buzzing. That's a performance. That's a team performance that we haven't seen for a long time.
Well, we'll talk about whether or not we've seen it. Because, anyway, we'll get there in a minute. Let me go through the match report, and then you guys can kick off with your thoughts. Final scores, Carlton 14-10, 94. Geelong 12-4, 76. Goals for the Blues, Hewitt, White, Durden, DeConing, Hollands, Williams, 1 each. Fogarty, 2. Mackay and Curnow, 3 each. Only injury, well, actually, there's a couple of injuries out of the game now, but Zach Williams with a calf. We know that Jack Silvani has broken, I think, his knuckle and needs surgery on that, but that's about 1 to 2 weeks. Zach looks like it's a little bit longer. And Adam Chera was cited today for a 1-week suspension for striking.
Really?
On Jack Bowes. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, I think I did see that.
not
Yeah,
see
I
it.
did.
It
I
was-
knew he was carrying potentially maybe a groin or something like that.
Nah, not the groin. He's suspended at this point for a week. So we're going to challenge. It's one of the most disgusting MRO sightings I've ever seen.
That's
it was
right,
him
yeah.
and Bowes just in a little scuffle. He hits Bowes in like the chin and Bowes goes down. And it's like, come on, man. That's like, how many times does that happen a day?
Was it a
in-
jumper
in a
punch
game?
or was it a...
No, just like those little like,
It's like a little
ones.
argy-bargy.
Oh, sure, that's fine. See you later.
Rubbish. Just rubbish. Yeah, just rubbish. Anyway, big day at the G. Do one of you want to start about our experience?
Yeah, well, we got invited to the box.
By the Punters Bookie.
Punters Bookie.
On Instagram at the Punters Bookie, if you're over 18. But yeah, it was fantastic.
Can we
Gamble,
comment?
responsibly?
Jules, Joe, prior to the game, or just as the game was about to start, apart from us winning, which was the absolute highlight, the other highlight of that box was that pulled lamb.
Oh, it's a joke.
The lamb
This
shoulder.
pulled lamb was ridiculous.
Yeah, we went back 3 times.
Three
Yeah,
times.
with colleagues today at work. Like I said, I was in the box and I wasn't talking about the drinks or anything. I was talking about this pulled lamb. That's what I was talking about. And the couscous. There was actually like,
We were so
decent.
selfish. I watched us. We were so selfish that the guy that hosted the box didn't even eat.
Yeah.
He didn't even get lamb.
We were in there with the competition winners from throughout the week. If you follow us on Instagram, you would have seen the competition go up. They had a brilliant day as well. It was
Good
great.
atmosphere in
It was
there.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. All right, game-wise, where do you want to start? Because we got a lot to talk about from what I can see. I've got a lot of notes tonight. What do you got to start? Start with some stats. What were the patterns in the game that you saw?
I mean, overall, we've been dominating contested possessions and clearances, and that was obviously that's our brand, and that's how we've been producing or at least not producing, but I guess that's how been our playing style. But one thing that we have gotten back in a big way is the way we've been able to get the ball inside to outside, and you can see it. What did we have? I think we had I've got some stats here. Marks. We've gone from 13th in the comp in marks to first. So what I'm talking about, I'm comparing 1 to
Prior-
4
Yeah, okay.
to
Now.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah, so
rounds.
the losses versus the wins.
Essentially, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so marks, we've gone from 13th in the comp to first. Effective kicks, 17th in the comp to first. Clangers, 18th to 4th. We've gone uncontested possessions, 16th to 2nd. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of getting the ball from inside to outside and sort of have that dash. And we sort of have been having that extra handball to make sure a player is clear in space to be able to kick the ball inside forward 50 and hit up targets. We've gone inside 50s, 7th to 1st, and then goals 17th to 1st.
A huge turnaround.
So
Massive.
massive turnaround. Obviously, take into consideration, West Coast and North and so on. But if you have a look at the Geelong side, arguably defensively and even offensively, they're probably a top 5 or 6 team, I would say, in the competition at the moment in terms of for and against. And they've had 16 shots. from, I think, 44 inside 50s, and 12 of them obviously being goals. So obviously for me, I know it was an 18-point game in the end, but I think not that they were lucky for me, but it could have been a 30, 40 point game quite easily.
Felt like a 40-point win.
Definitely. I think we've shown that our defensive profile has been there the whole season.
Yep.
Okay? What it was for me, boys, was our intent to hunt the footy and our tenacity for not 1 quarter, not 2 quarters, but for 4 quarters. Because realistically, you're not going to dominate a football game for 4 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically.
Well, there's always going to be ebbs and flows.
There has to be.
Yeah.
There's momentum shifts and everything.
You
But
can't expect, especially a good side like
But
Geelong,
what
that
you
they're not
can-
going to have their turn. They're always going to have
correct.
their turn.
That's right. But what you can expect and what you do want to see as a supporter and from your team is that intensity and that intent that we bought for 4 quarters was off the charts.
Yeah.
We were, and not just defensively, but offensively, our movement off the ball to create options. Like we had men around the ball
So I
everywhere
think-
around the ground.
I think our pressure rating in the last quarter, when Geelong were coming at us to start that quarter, our pressure rating was at 245.
ridiculous.
And theirs was at about 190, right? So it was a high pressure game from both, but we were through the roof. Even when the momentum wasn't with us, we went another level to make sure that it didn't get away from us. That was the biggest thing that I saw.
Can I tell you what it was, though? It was in the first quarter, and you'll probably remember it. It's Fogarty's tackle. I don't know if you remember Fog.
Set the tone.
Set the tone.
And
There-
Cripper as well.
And Cripps
I think
and
in the third or
Dirds.
fourth. Yeah, there were a couple of tackles that really set the tone. for
Early
pressure.
on that really set it.
Yeah.
So for me, that looked like, okay, this is the way we're going to go about our footy for 4 quarters. And we sustained it. That was the most pleasing thing.
Yeah, even in regards to what you're talking about, Paysan, in terms of moving the footy, we had plus 75 in uncontested possession. So, I mean, yeah, we've been winning contested possessions, we've been winning clearances and so on. We've been able to get the ball, but the manner in which we're moving the ball, especially not so much from transition, because we've been, in terms of inside 50s, we've had the predominant inside 50s over the course of the season, at least in most games. But for me, it's the way we're winning off and scoring off turnover. So I think we scored, what was it, 60 points?
I think
Or was
it
it
was
10
60 or
goals?
66.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was like 10 goals off turnover. But mind you, Geelong only scored 3 goals off turnover. Sorry, 21 points, I think, off
Yeah,
turnover.
so just over 3 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just in
naturally-
context, it's
Well, this is some more context for you around Geelong. They've got the 5th most points for in the comp, right? We kept them to 16 scoring shots and 44 inside 50s. So very low numbers in terms of their ability to actually penetrate the scoreboard. The only reason that they kicked the score that they did and kept themselves in it is because they kicked 12-4.
Yeah, that's right.
They were dead-eye in front of goal, right? So
And Cameron always hurts us.
he always does.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Far out.
he still played a big game in those moments.
Yeah.
But the point is, if you take away 12-4 and you just look at 16 scoring shots for the game against a team that has been able to score at will at times this year, it is a very, very impressive performance by us defensively. And we've said it all year on this podcast in terms of what should come first. Your defensive profile is key. Even in the losses, we have kept ourselves in the game as poorly as what we've played from our ability to defend as a
Definitely.
team and defend the ground. We look unbelievable in the way that we are setting up
And
across the ground.
Haynes and Gov and Weeders and JSOS, they look like they've built now a foundation there.
Yep.
Your Haynes has come into it. Sauce hasn't played there. It looks like there's a bit of chemistry now. We're obviously talking off the Geelong win. We want to see it for the next 4 to 5 games at a minimum. But you can see that there's actually some continuity there between them.
So do you, I'll ask you, because you've been a big critic of the 4 tools to this point in the season, because it didn't look like it was working early on. There were signs that they could probably gel. Now, especially after this win and the way that they worked off each other in this game in particular, can you see that there's a future for that in this system? And do you think that that's the way that we need to continue to go?
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
You do agree with 4 tools now?
I think
you'd probably prefer 3.
I think you'd probably prefer 3. I still probably prefer 3.
But do you think that this can still be extremely effective if you've got Haynes and Gov particular working off each other the way that
I'll
they
tell you
did?
why it works. Okay, is because the pressure that we actually produce.
Yeah, of course.
So
High up the ground?
High up the ground. Or else it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because what it's enabling is us to set up, put pressure on,
It sits into Haynes'
correct. And then
ability
they can
to
intercept McGov and JSOS and
Drop in a
Wiedering,
hole,
and they can drop off, and they
zone
can
off,
organise, they
all
can
that sort
zone
of
off,
stuff.
and so on. So it works as long as the pressure is there. As soon as the pressure's not there, that's when you'll see that other teams are going to be able to actually score more easily.
Pressure and contest is what they've been drumming into all of us in press conferences, media days, all that sort of stuff. Voss in particular, it's just pressure and contest, pressure and contest, pressure and contest. That's our identity. We've spoken about this for years, right? I understand how it plays into the turnover game now in terms of front half turnover and scoring off that. But as a football club, if we're going to build long-term sustainability, like you talk about a lot of the time, you need some sort of profile and identity that anyone that walks through that door knows the system that they're walking into. You've got to live and die by your system and live and die by your identity. The identity is pressure, contest, territory. That's it. That's when we're at our best. We are not a run and gun football side. We won't be until we get those players and personnel behind the ball. That's as simple as that. We don't have the skill use. We don't have the execution. We don't have the runners. We still show it in patches. We absolutely do. But we're never going to be a Collingwood that can just move the ball and blitz teams through the corridor like they do. It's not the case. We beat teams at stoppage. We beat teams through territory. We beat teams through pressure at ground level. Our small forwards are on fire.
Yeah, but even gaining, sorry to cut you off, but even gaining territory through your stoppage and your clearance work is putting pressure on the opposition.
Of course,
that's
absolutely.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's offensive pressure by doing that.
And our ability. So where this all ties into in terms of one of our biggest strengths at the moment that's not being spoken about, we are the number 2 side for pressure inside our forward 50. Number 2.
Yeah, we just
ball
had
hits the deck.
12-4.
Ball's not coming out, and if it comes out, we're getting repeat entry. What was that?
You just had 12-4 tackles. On
That's
the
right,
weekend.
12 tackles.
I mean, you got it in context. We had I think it was like plus 19 inside
yeah,
50s.
but that's the thing.
But
These repeat entries that they talk about and getting the ball deep and locking it in, that's the identity. That's what they want. This is what they believe they can get out of this playing group. This playing group isn't fucking Hollywood. It's just not. They get paid like they're Hollywood, but they're not. They're not run and gun. They're not that type of class of player. They are blue collar, grunt, territory. Gain as much as you can and lock the ball in.
Do you know what I think, though?
result.
This is what I think. I think that the first 4 weeks, though, we were playing just contested pressure game of footy.
Probably too much, yeah.
But we didn't have the elements that you see now. And what I mean by that is, and even Ollie Hollands, like he's gone on to not another level, but in terms of his running ability, Carroll's come in.
I think Matt Carroll's
Mott
a big
has
one.
come into the midfield. Elijah's starting to play now, and he's starting to use his ball use, and you've been able to see him, hit up targets through the middle. Carroll, he goes for his kicks. You've got the likes of Cottrell as well. In terms of ability, and the media are actually talking about him, giving him massive praises in terms of his use and his ball use and hitting up targets inside forward 50. And again, he's another player who can move. Walsh is on the outside now. You have a look at this, Walsh's stats again. I think he had 9 contested. And I think 21 uncontested. That's his game. He's getting on the outside, and he's the receiver. Whether he's, starts on the inside, then goes on the outside, or he's already on the outside playing half forward, wing, or whatever position. That's his game. And you saw it on the weekend. I think it was Fogg's goal, where he received the ball, hand passed it, Mackay, received it again, and then hit up Fogg on the lead. So I just feel like as if those players, those added players and that addition, Walsh obviously being a bit more uncontested now, because he doesn't have to go in and under. Not when you've got Hewitt, Cripps and Chera already. Yeah. And now you've got Motlop coming through the midfield, Williams and Elijah as well. So I just feel like as if there's various dynamics there. There's players that can hit up through the corridor too. There's different elements, different string to our bow, and we'll see whether we can sustain it for a longer period. But the last 2 games, especially, I've only got high praises.
To be honest, I think we match up well against Geelong, given the fact that we can actually dominate them through the middle, which plays in our hands. I'm very intrigued to see against Adelaide this week, to be honest. Like, I know we're jumping, but because I just still want to see how we cope.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah. I want to see us bring that with a midfield that pretty much matches ours. Because you got to admit, I think we do definitely are more dominant than Geelong through the midfield. Yeah, and it was clear to see.
Mate,
it was clear.
So there was another stat as well on first crack that they went through. So we're averaging 790 metres gained per game from stoppage in terms of territory, right? Throughout the first 3 quarters against Geelong, we had 773 metres gained from stoppage. In the last quarter alone, we were down 709. Well, 12-0 on clearances. In the
It was
last
11 to 1.
11-1, whatever it is, right? So clearly, the way that we're going to be beat is at stoppage. If teams can work out how to stop us gaining territory, in particular from stoppage, that's the easiest way that you're going to get us. If they get us there, we probably don't have much on the outside because we don't have the ability to extract the ball and get it out.
It's the transition.
Yeah, transition is going to
from
kill us if teams get on top of us. Even Chris Scott alluded to it in his presser. He said teams know that they're going to struggle. I'll paraphrase, but he said teams know that they'll struggle against us at stoppage all game. You don't want to go up against the likes of Cripps, Hewitt, Chera, Walsh head to head in a stoppage because you're probably going to lose out more than 50% of the time. And he did allude to the fact that there are other avenues that we can be exposed in. He didn't go into detail on what that was, but I think it's pretty clear to see that if the ball's in transition,
They're no way.
yeah,
Just on his presser, he did not explain. When I say anything, like nothing.
In terms of gave nothing away.
Gave nothing away. But like adamantly,
He was fuming, Jules.
he was fuming.
He was
But also,
fuming.
I was,
But
I was a
adamantly
bit
said-
fucking disappointed. Like what?
it's a shit press
It's a
conference.
rubbish press conference.
Yeah.
You've literally come out and said, we played shit, they didn't play good. We killed you. We murdered you all game. The reason that you were so fumbly and the reason that you couldn't hit targets in what you have perceived as uncontested situations is because of the perceived pressure that we put on them all game. It was relentless.
He was cooking. He
relentless.
was fuming. You could tell. He didn't want to be there. He
No,
just wanted to
no
be.
way.
He wanted to say
No
the
way.
minimal that he said, and
No way. But even on the likes of like a Bailey Smith, like before this round, he was playing like very good footy. But I feel like as if but I feel like as if we worked him out in a way where he wasn't able to get on the outside.
well, yelling at him.
What's
through
your
the box.
opinion
Yeah.
of Bailey Smith?
I think he's a
Dan?
genuine hack.
Yeah, what's yours? Go.
I just want to quickly jump in. I don't know if you boys saw after the game with Chris Scott sitting with the midfield group of Geelong afterwards. Did you guys see that on
Oh, I
Fox
did
Footy?
actually, yeah.
Yeah,
They had
yeah.
a pretty stern conversation.
Yeah, yeah, and usually that's the other way around. It's probably Vossi, our midfield coach, talking to
True.
our group. So
Yeah.
What do you guys make of that, where we've tailed them in the midfield to the point where their coach is sitting with their midfield six?
Well,
saying
I
all
mean,
went
like
wrong?
you said, he was fuming. Like he was genuinely rattled. Actually, they've literally just said that in the comments. Stephen Kimonides here. Scott was rattled. He looked rattled after the game in terms of the fact that they could not, even when they had the momentum, which they did in the last quarter, they didn't in coming out at half time, and even to start the game, they probably had more momentum than what we did. They just couldn't break us. They couldn't get away from us or claw it back to a point where they could break our spirit to not fight back. It was arm's length from us all game.
That's another thing that we were able to do was we in that second quarter. Do you remember? I turned to you both and said, with this momentum that we've got at the moment, we all said it actually. We need to pile on 3 or 4 goals, and we did. And then they kicked back with I think 1 or 2, and then we'd reply. Like that was so important to stem their momentum.
Yeah.
And that's what we were seeing when we were going through that run to make a prelim.
Yep.
You know, this profile and what we watched against Geelong was literally that.
I'm also going to say right now, we're 30 minutes in, not one single audio issue. This man here, that's not on camera
Go.
at the moment, he knows what he's doing. You hammered him the other week.
Yeah, question.
No, you got to put your hand up
No,
and
I'm
say
not.
sorry.
No, I'm not.
It's not his equipment.
Did it fire you up, me hammering you last week?
Gave me a spray.
Did you listen?
Yeah, of course.
Good man.
Nah,
But it wasn't your equipment.
It's a combination of, like Vossi's system, it's not always perfect. Sometimes you've got to tinker things, get it right. So,
Trust the process,
that's
Jordan.
It, trust the and we've got role plays like Dan, helping the podcast go along. So,
As long as we get to be there, Mad Monday.
light uncotters. Back to you, Cripper.
What I got to say, I like that. That's very good. Anyway, this is good. We're back. It's nice. I'm gonna derail this a little bit. Someone just put a comment in here. Terribly saddened to learn of the passing of the great Peter Bazzusto following an extended battle with cancer. I didn't realise. I think he passed yesterday. They've just released the news. So that is quite sad. Premiership player for the Blues. I think multiple premierships back in the day. I know he's been on the jumper punch a couple of times. He's done a couple of interviews there. So absolutely. That is definitely sad news. It's definitely true because I've just looked it up. So that's... Yeah, didn't mean to derail it. The other one that's in the comments is Silvio Casano.
Oh, no.
Hey, boys, what about Liverpool? We don't fucking care. We don't give a
The
shit.
amount of group chats on
I don't want to hear
any
it.
form of social
Up the
media
Reds.
that he
You're a Reds fan.
that he uploads
he is. Jordan's a
far
Reds fan
out.
as well.
The founder of Vortex.
He's a
was
Reds
seen-
fan too.
It was seen at 9 a.m. with flares out the front of the house.
In his backyard. Anyway, Liverpool fans are genuinely unbearable when they're up and about. So that includes you too on the camera. All right, let's get this back on track. So, yeah, we're talking about stemming their flow and momentum. That's not something that we've been able to do that this group's been able to do too often, especially this year. When teams get on a run, they usually get on a 5 or 6 goal run. 3 times the Cats came at us, and 3 times we said, absolutely not. We turned the pressure up. There were moments with tackles or big marks from Durds or contested marks down the wing that just stemmed the flow completely and not only stopped their run of goals, but then we went on another 2-3 goal run ourselves. So, I don't know. There's a lot there from the Cats game that we franked the form of the North Melbourne game. We spoke about it last week. It looked different against North. We both wanted to see if they could frank the form against one of the most consistent sides in the AFL, and they didn't only just do that. We obliterated them. That, for me, is as good as a 40-point win. I don't care what anyone says.
What were you boys feeling at 3/4 time?
Oh, I was quietly confident. I think most people were, and even in the seats below us, we were actually talking to them because obviously they recognised us.
Few fans of the show.
Yeah, and we had a bit of a conversation. They recognised Joe, not anyone else.
Not us.
It's usually how it goes.
And they asked us, "What do you think, boys?" And we basically said, like, we're quietly confident, like, surely we have it from here. So, and everyone else was pretty calm, no?
But we just didn't want us to fuck it up.
Yeah.
That's reality.
Yeah.
We're playing so well, we just didn't want us to fuck it up. When they came within 2 goals, what were you then feel? The 10 point. Was it 10 or 12?
Was it 10 points or 12 points at that point?
12
It
points.
was 10. Bailey Smith went down to 10.
Yeah, he went to 10.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I think, look, obviously we were all very nervous at that point, but reflecting on it, there was no way we were ever going to lose that. Just with how we played for the majority of that game. We'd already proven that we could stem their momentum twice prior to that point. So, although the nerves probably set in, I think still in the back of my mind, and in our mind really, like I didn't feel like the 3 of us were that nervous. Like, I've been a lot more nervous at other games, to be fair. I still looked at it overall and went, we're 1 goal here from sealing this. That's all it was. Harry steps up, kicks it, and that's essentially the sealer in the end. I know George kicked one to really put the nail in the coffin, but yeah, it still didn't really feel like they were going to run over the top of us.
I spoke to another Baggers supporter after the game, and he goes, I'm not thinking about a flag. I'm not thinking about this. He goes, I just wanted to rock up to work on a Monday and be proud of my team.
Yeah.
And we literally were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a really good, yeah.
It was a great day. The other point I want to look at in terms of what we showed that I don't think we've showed too often is we actually had multiple gears in that game. This probably rounds out the conversation that we're talking about in terms of where our game has evolved to. You might have a stat on this, Jules, I don't know. But what I saw from the eye test was there were times where we had to slow the game down, and we did. There were times when we had to go quick by hand or by foot, and we did. There were times where we had to execute, whether it be a big mark or Walsh's running play down, which I think led to Durden's mark in the end. No, that was to Fogarty. But that running play down the outer wing gets the handball off Harry. He just run and gun. There were times when all of that had to happen, and we actually executed, right? Based on what the scenario needed. It wasn't like we were trying to force anything. We never tried to force anything throughout the game. We didn't try and force an extra handball just to try and get some run and gun. We didn't try and force a long kick to the goal square with 2 small forwards there. Every scenario that was put in front of us and what we had to execute in those moments, it felt like they just knew what they needed to do.
Yeah, they seemed a lot more connected, hey?
Yeah.
With what they were doing. A lot more connected. Do you know what it was as well? It was trying that kick. How many times did Carroll try that kick in the corridor? And do you know what? The more experience that bloke gets, the better and better he's going to be. Because his ball use and for his intent to want to take that kick, it's going to make him a massive asset.
He's been given license to take that
Definitely.
kick. He's been told, take that kick.
Yeah, of course he has.
Genuinely.
He can do it, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Agree.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, like, we need players like that to actually just try. Because you saw it on the weekend, as long as you're set up behind the ball and you know you have numbers in and around where the kick is going, most likely it's a 50-50
Even
or
if
it's
the ball hits the
60-40,
deck,
even
that's
the
right.
ball hits the deck.
Yeah.
You've got players around there and you've got support underneath it or behind the ball, obviously, if they do win it as well. So, and again, that comes down to players backing each other up. And you could see it even in terms of the way, our system was in terms of obviously going side to side when Geelong were trying to move the ball side to side as well. And, you could see that we were a lot more structured and organised behind the ball, purely because of the pressure and the pressure that Geelong were under and because of the structure. But Geelong, I was actually quite surprised in terms of the amount of outs that we could have, or that we had in the game in terms of like trying to, get through their zone. So
that's through our work rate.
We pointed it out quite a lot.
We did. Yeah, I mean, you could see it. Even from the stands where we were sitting. All right, there's a few players that I think we need to actually talk about individually. I think we've covered the game well enough in terms of how it played out. It was first and foremost one of the best team performances I've seen from these boys in about a year, to be honest. Definitely. But there are some individuals yesterday that stood up, especially in some big moments, that I think, and probably a few of them that had their best game for the season as well individually, that I think we need to give genuine credit to here. I'm going to start Nick Haynes, and we said it last week. We even posted a little mini clip of it on Blue Broad during the week and on Spotify as well. He's had one bad game for the year, and it's what the majority of the supporters have hung their hat on to try and make him the new whipping boy. He hasn't put a foot wrong since round one, and yesterday, not only did he not put a foot wrong, he won us that game. He was best on ground for me.
Didn't he break the record for...
He was close. He had 8 intercept marks.
That's right, yeah.
The record's 10. But he had 7 like halfway through the third, so he went very close. But for me, he's BOG, and I'm not the only one that says that because he got most coaches' votes on the weekend as well. So you can tell what you want about Nick Haynes now. When you're coming into a new club, a new system, a new environment, bigger games than what he ever played at GWS, the pressure's probably going to be there to try and perform early. It's taken him not even 6 weeks to show that he is every bit the recruit that we want him to be.
Another player that's probably had his best game in God knows how long, H.
Yeah.
We'll give some big love to H here.
We have to. I think we need to. Knowing obviously that he's struggled quite a lot. It wasn't just him kicking, he kicked 3? Boys?
Kicked 3.
Kicked 3?
3 in 19
It was
touches.
the contested marks down the boundary.
I mean, he had 5, I think, for the game. 5 contested marks.
But
Too
it was
late.
the moment. Yeah,
too
it was
late.
the moments that he took those and he actually stamped his authority on the game, especially in that fourth quarter with what he did.
He had 2, so he had one like really late. He had one prior wing, and he also had one which ended up being the sealer that he kicked prior to him kicking that. 3 contested marks in the last quarter, which basically got us over the line.
But
he was a Goliath in that last quarter.
It was his every time he'd go up for a mark, you thought he's going to pluck this.
How
Every single
many
time.
score involvements did he have?
H.
He kicked 3, but I think he had something like 9 score involvements
Did he?
overall. Yeah. For a key forward, that's huge. To only
Massive.
kick 3 as well. Like
Well,
you're
he had
involved in
19
6 other
touches,
scores.
So, where are they all the way down though? 8.
8, there you go. I'm going to give you one to talk about, Jules, your boy, as well. So H was massive. And actually, just to finish off on H, he goes back, shanks one, and the crowd was like, that was as loud as I've heard a crowd. Boos, cheers, like people, us getting around him, Geelong supporters trying to put him off. Shanks it, right? 2 minutes later, contested mark, goes back, slots it. That's massive for a guy that has been very open and public about his performance anxiety, essentially, if that's what you want to label it, or where he was headspace-wise. I don't really want to label it, but for someone that's just come back in after a concussion as well, hasn't got the continuity, to stand up like he did in the last quarter, genuinely inspirational to see. And especially for a key forward. Like, you need that player for your club to fire, and he's done it under immense pressure.
And someone like H provides us with a lot more structure.
For sure.
Yeah, but
That's the thing, because it allows Charlie to play high up the ground. The smalls work off him a lot more. There's a lot more continuity just by him being there.
Yeah.
And that was evident.
And I feel like as if he's probably, in terms of wanting to have a second ruckman in your team, he's probably the one that you want more as well, because I reckon he offers a lot more around the ground in terms of his ability to get around than, someone else like a Lewis Young.
Yeah.
Elijah Hollins.
Do you want to get around him?
I want you to get around him. He's your boy. To be honest, he's another one that's just come off some mental health leave as well, for whatever reasons.
You talk about, obviously we
it's
spoke
good to
about
see these boys
Carroll.
come back into the system like this.
Talk about Lige and his ball use. Start with that.
Oh,
Because
look, I think, and this is the thing, I think we've had players to win the ball. But I feel like as if some of the players that we've introduced to our side over the last 3-4 weeks, they're able to help on the outside. And you can even go, and even like our pressure inside forward 50. So like you add like Cots, you add Durden as well. Cottrell's on the outside. He's hit, like we said before, he's been able to hit targets inside the forward 50. Elijah's probably doesn't move as well in terms of speed like a Cottrell can, but he's able to find pockets of space in between the arcs. To be able to hit up players through the corridor or hit up targets inside forward 50. He's just got you can see, he's got footy smarts. You can see.
He's a very smart footballer.
Yeah, he's a smart footballer.
Yeah.
They also did applaud his prep over the last 4 weeks.
To get back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we don't know the reasons why he took a leave of absence. People can assume all they want. I'm not going to assume at all, but
all we can judge him off is what he shows on the weekend.
that's right. But you can only judge both him and H on asking for a leave of absence from the club. They step away, they come back in. Looks like they haven't missed a beat. H looks like he's in ripping nick in terms of like his body and the way he's moving. And by all reports, he had a big preseason as well.
Yeah. He had
Elijah,
six score involved
from 25 touches. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many any direct goal assists? I didn't
0.
Really say. Yeah. But anyway,
it's his best game.
It's
I'm
still,
telling you.
regardless of the amount of score involvements or whatnot, it's Elijah's ability to first, like you said, his prep to get back as quickly as he has. But secondly, what I love about him is he'll just take the kick.
Yeah.
He sees it, he takes it. It's not going to come off every time, but they're kicks that are high risk and very, very high reward. It will serve us. It has to benefit us so much more than what it's going to be to a detriment long term to have a player like that.
The kick that he takes is to the advantage of his teammate.
Yeah.
It's not this lofted kick. The way he actually uses the footy is quality, and it's always to the advantage of his teammate. That's why he's a massive asset to what we do.
You have a look at in terms of like who's getting our disposals. You got Walsh, who inside and outside, but predominantly on the outside now. You got Hewitt and Cripps and Chera. They're our main like ball winners in terms of being on the inside, and then you got the likes of Hollands, both of them 25, 23, and then Sard, McGovern, Haynes, and then Mackay, De Koning. So like there's some players there.
Okay.
There's some players there in terms of like their ability to try and either through speed and obviously break lines as well as their ball use in terms of trying to hit up targets as well.
It's so random. But as you were speaking and you mentioned Hewitt, his goal just came into my mind.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And I thought, I didn't even know he could
He had
kick
the
that
legs.
far.
I literally
didn't
turned to
even
you.
think he could kick that far.
Me and Jules go,
Yeah.
he can't kick 40 metres. What's he
When
kicking
he
from
nailed
55?
the goal, that's what when you
was
mentioned
shocked.
Hewitt, that's why I started
I
laughing.
was
so
shocked.
much.
I was
flushed
like,
it.
what did I say?
He flushed it.
Yeah.
He flushed it. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Sorry,
Actually,
Jules, I wasn't even laughing at you. I just literally, you mentioned Hewitt.
That's a good
I
segue.
thought about his goal and I went, I actually didn't think he could do that.
it's a good segue because I want to talk about a few of the midfielders.
But he cleared it like
No,
he flushed it.
yeah.
He did. It just came off sweet. Let's talk about Hewitt. We spoke about him a little bit last week, but I want to give him proper credit. Will he? There is no doubt in my mind he's probably top 5 in the Brownlow right now. Has to be.
He has to be out
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Is he not
Yeah.
one? Is he not probably the
If
most
he-
consistent mid in the comp outside of like a Zach Butters or someone? But I mean, Butters hasn't played every game. This is the thing. So like, if I look at a mid that's played every game, Dacos started slow. Hewitt didn't. Like in terms of his individual performances, he's probably one of the most consistent in the
What's he
comp.
paying?
What's he paying?
But the thing is with a Hewitt, I feel like as if he gets what's the word I'm looking for? Wrongly downgraded, especially at the beginning, before he's getting some raps, if that makes sense, like in the media and so on.
What do you
Like
mean?
I feel like as if there's some players, because they've got a name now, they potentially could just get votes.
Of course.
regardless.
regardless.
Yeah.
But now I think because Hewitt's been put in the spotlight a little bit more, now it's sort of
He'll
like
get some attention from the
Now he'll
umpires.
get some attention now.
And the coaches in particular as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this season Hewitt's had remember that patch of 8 to 10 games that he had before he got
When he
injured?
first
Yeah.
when he
to the
came
club.
to the
Where
club.
he was just clean
this
by
is
hand.
miles better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
And we're blowing then.
yeah, but he's just got this ability where like you trust him defensively. We've always trusted him defensively, but his ability with ball in hand. Do you remember that where he's laying down?
Yeah.
Where he's literally on the
Johnny got
ground
the
laying
ball out.
down. He'd been tackled and he got this handball out to Chera that just hit Chera exactly where it needed to be, set us up for a goal. Like
Yeah.
at the moment, he just
That
looks
was one
like
of Mackay's.
It was. I think it was in the third quarter.
Yeah.
He just looks like, and it was at a time of the game where we actually needed to put a stamp on it ourselves to like really hammer the point home that we were going to get on top of them. But it's just his ability in those moments to execute when not many players can execute what he is doing. Like whether it be extracting, whether it be little moments like that where he's on the ground, he can hit a handball. Like he hasn't missed a beat all year.
The other thing when I went home and I was thinking about the game is we didn't need. Like, Cripper didn't need to put everyone on his shoulders and carry us like he has in the past.
This season, like, really.
But that's so important for himself as well.
Agree.
So I think that's another massive thing to take out of the game.
I think what
is
that
Cripps
does...
isn't our...
Isn't?
Yeah, of course. He hasn't been the focus at all.
Did I say it wrong?
No, I agree. I'm agreeing. What the fuck? I'm agreeing with you.
I think what that does is, as well, it enables us to move Cripps, like, forward, like he did against the West Coast.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he can bob up.
Yeah, I mean, in this game, he didn't have to because we had both of our key forwards firing, and we also probably still needed him in the midfield just to keep us going there. But if they want to tag Cripps, no problem. Hewitt's on fire. If you want to tag Hewitt, it means you're leaving Cripps to do what he's got to do. Like, so to have them bouncing off each other like they are, and then Chera obviously is a third foil, Walsh is that outside. We are so hard to stop at stoppage when all four of them are on fire like they are. They are just on fire at the moment.
So what happens now, like that, we could finally have some consistency, but we've got JSOS out. We're going to have Williams out and
maybe
Ches.
We'll talk about the ins when we get to the preview.
Right.
And we'll talk about what that might look like this week. Because I think we've actually got a few options, to be honest. I think we do.
I'm saying it from the point of the fact that you can finally gain some continuity with people's availability and the way in which we're playing to actually have like 3 or 4 games where we have pretty consistent 22.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But I think I think we're going to get that though. Is that what you're saying?
No, because we lose it
now.
No,
outside of this
we're
week,
losing it with JSOS
outside
for 2
of this
weeks.
Week,
we're losing it for Williams.
Outside of this week or two, I still think the majority of that group is still going to get some continuity.
But JSOS 3 to 4 weeks, no?
No, I think it's
it's
tops 2.
Broken hands.
At most 2, they've said. 2 weeks at most.
Broken hands.
2 weeks at most.
They announced it.
How long are you out, Jordan, with your broken
He's
thumb?
got a broken thumb. No, I get what you're saying, but I still think for the majority of the group, they're going to get some continuity between them. I'm not too concerned by that, to be honest.
Depends on who we think is going to come in.
Another audio check. We're 50 minutes in, not one dropout. That's what I'm talking about. Mavros Studios, man.
See, you respond to feedback.
Knows what he's doing.
Performance managing.
Any other players we want to talk about in particular before we move on? Anyone that... Oh, actually, Lockie Fogarty needs some love. That's his best game for the year. Yeah. When Fogg's doing that, forget about the goals, but just the pressure, his tackling was relentless. That was as good a tackling performance as I've seen from a small forward in a long time.
He did that early on when he comes to the club.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember. He was immense from a pressure and a tackling perspective.
When he came in the back half of 2023, that's what changed the game for us, was his ability to really lock the ball in and set the tone in the front half. He needs to just do that every week. That's it. Sticky tackles, bring the pressure, bring the intent, the rest will come.
What are our thoughts on Motlop rolling through the middle?
We spoke about it last week, and both Jules and I were on the same.
Needs to happen.
I agree.
You like it?
And what's your take? I think it just needs time.
I'm not sold on it yet. I can see why you would do it. I just don't know if he's the guy.
So
I hope he proves me wrong.
You haven't made your
convinced.
mind up on it.
I haven't made my mind up.
Yeah. Because I know a few people have, and they don't want to see him there.
Are you saying they don't want to see him?
They don't want to see him.
I think I'd like to see a bit more to see what he can bring. I'm not sold.
So
I'm not going, I love it, because I feel like I need to see more for that type of player.
The discussion that we had last week was you need a player like that can pinch hit.
You do.
At centre bounce, right? How can you expect him to develop at an AFL level in that role if you don't trial him there consistently and just take the good with the bad?
I agree with that, but when's enough if he's not?
But it's not like we're using... How many centre bounce attendances do you
it's not
have?
a massive
You can check
amount.
that. Let me check that in the app. Let me check that in the
I
app.
just think he's the type of player, and you can go through, in a variety of different positions. It's like...
4 centre bounce attendances, Joe.
4, there you go, bang. 4 centre bounce. Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah. So it's like nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah.
It's just to add a bit of
But
spice.
it's obvious when he's
you need.
there, obviously.
But
it's 4 centre bounce attendances out of how many? Like 30, I think, for the game.
I'm just saying.
So it's not like we're putting him there at every opportunity that we get. It's here's your taste of it. Show us what you've got. You need to develop into this role because clearly they want someone that's got a little bit more of a dynamic ability at centre bounce than what a Walsh, Chera, Cripps, and Hewitt have because you know what you're getting from them.
Yeah, of course.
How many
we need someone with a bit of pace.
How many teams?
Which is
Clearly.
Motlop.
Well, a bit of X
It's
factor
absolutely
because how many
Motlop.
teams actually have that kind of player in their
Heaps.
side
A lot of
that
teams
can
do.
do that?
Papley, Sydney.
Everyone's
got one.
We all, Rankin for Adelaide. He does
Cam
that.
Rayner sometimes goes in there for the Lions.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like, you need, those other players probably have a bit more talent, so to speak, in terms of like higher in the draft, obviously being able to produce a little bit more in terms of X factor. But I can actually see it in Motts, but he needs time. And as long as he has the support around him in terms of learning the craft and so on.
I agree 100%. He's got to learn, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of comments just here now where I'm not going to name who it is. I won't bring him up. But there's a lot of comments, Motlop gets the ball, he tends to take the player on and get caught instead of getting rid of it. He hesitates over the ball. He overruns it enough times to notice. He seems clumsy when he's pressured. He needs to work on his explosiveness. He missed 2 ground balls that were unpressured.
So more leading towards no.
We're all seeing that, but I don't think you can make your mind up on it when he's literally had 6 games doing it at AFL level. I think give him a larger body of work for him to develop into that role. He'll learn from those mistakes. And I'm telling you now, long term, if you stick with it, that is going to be a player that gives us something different at a set of bounce. Because we don't have that player at the moment. It was probably going to be Jagger Smith this year.
I'm just saying,
It probably would have been.
It probably would have been, but
Jagger
it's not
Smith.
now. And Jagger would have played that high half forward role where he can roll into the middle. It's not. You need someone, if you've built a system in the preseason, you need someone to step up. They've chosen Motts. You got to stick with it. You just have to.
I agree. Like I said to you before, I can see why. I'm just not sold on it yet.
Yeah, and that could change too. Like you'll see games where it could be Motts, but obviously Elijah's gone through there as well at times, particularly last year. Like it could be
doesn't have
him.
the pace of Motts though.
Correct, but he's got the ball use.
Yeah.
He's got better ball use.
Yeah.
Can I put a player to you guys who I thought played really well? Mitch McGovern. I don't
Yeah,
think you guys have
Gov, had a
mentioned
good
him,
game.
but I just checked the stat sheet here. 20 disposals at 95% efficiency, and 15 of those were kicks.
Yeah. There you go.
He had to play late in the game where he went twice. So he I think he peeled off Cameron, made the choice that he had to go to where the drop of the ball was, impacted it. We got the turnover. He got the ball back, handballed it to Sard, asked for the ball back, streamed through the corridor, and he hit Charlie, led to Charlie hitting Cripps. Cripps hit Hewitt. Hewitt kicked the goal. So he set up essentially the sealer if you go back and watch it. So I felt, again, he's another one that's been a whipping boy with Haynes. They're starting to work off each other. They're starting to understand where both of them need to be positioned to impact the game in the back half. You can see it. So they're only going to get better together. He's only going to get better the more confidence that he has in his intercept partner. I just think that a few of us, and we've probably done it at times on the podcast this year, we went a little bit too early on a few. We went probably a little bit too early on our hopes for the season. A month is a long fucking time in footy. That's what we need to remember.
Well, I was shocked that we're only a game away from the 8.
We're a game away from 5th with our percentage.
Like I was genuinely shocked at that. My headspace went away from the ladder.
Yeah, but even if you have a look at the percentage after round 4, I think it was still over 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, we were. Yeah. We were.
So, like, I mean, percentages and everything, but like, I feel like as if you see more in percentage than in wins and losses on a team's performance.
Can I just bring up one more thing about our performance? This isn't player related. It's more about the team.
We'll round this out. And then
We
we'll
played it with a lot more just instinct.
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
But-
I just think we need to do a little bit more.
But when
because
we
there was
needed
times
to-
when, say, Sard would overlap or Hollands, and it's just about a quick handball. Like
There was a lot more of that.
there was a lot more.
We discussed this.
There was a
little
lot
bit.
more, but I'd like us to just play with a little bit more instinct. It was there,
was there.
definitely.
Yeah.
But I think in those moments when you can just give the quick handball with the Sard coming through, I think it's
But
going
we
to be...
didn't try and force it. This is what I was trying to say before.
Definitely.
It never looked like we were trying to force everything. There was probably one play that I remember where we overused the handball through the corridor.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
20 handballs.
You know which one I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? And it's like,
It was a
right, that's
joke.
probably a bit much. You're
It was like
forcing that.
Globetrotter stuff.
Outside of that, we didn't force anything. We hit the first target that was available. We, especially going inside 50, we looked to the fat side twice. Will White got onto one on the fat side of the ground where all the space was. We just looked straight across the 50, bang, put into space. We're doing all of those things that we have asked of them since round 1 to start to show us. They are now doing it. If they can continue this, I'm telling you now, we are going to be very, very hard to beat. I firmly believe that. The defensive profile's there, our ball use is better, our entry inside 50 is better, and we're scoring. We can now score.
Yeah.
You continue that. There's not many teams that can go with that.
For me, above all else, the confidence is there. So, like, as soon as you you see the roadmap, you see the game plan, and so on, the coaches try to sell it to you. But as soon as you're doing it, but you're only going to buy in, not say, "Oh yes, coach, like I'll do it."
Yeah.
Like you need to see it.
Yeah.
You know, and they've seen it obviously against West Coast, a bit of a taste. They saw it definitely against North. But now they've seen it against a Geelong side who, like we said, arguably top 4 side in the comp in terms of obviously what they've been able to produce in the first 6 rounds. And obviously we go into next week's game and see if we can produce it again and obviously back it up obviously the next few weeks.
Agree,
again.
and we're going to get into the preview now, but not until we hear from Livy. Livy's last word.
Hey everyone, it's Livy with Livy's Last Words, and this is what I thought about the game. Absolutely amazing. I'm so happy that we beat Geelong Cats by 18 points. It was absolutely such an amazing game to watch. I was very scared because I just had a feeling that Geelong were going to come back, and they did. But then a massive goal from Hewitt, which was amazing. And I'm so happy that we actually played 4 quarters of football. Absolutely amazing. First of all, Mackay, superb. Back on the field, absolutely amazing. Kicking 3 goals and 5 contested marks, which was superb. Absolutely amazing. Anyways, our defence, very good. We fighted the whole game, which was amazing. I've just reckon our pressure has been on point and amazing. But what a mark from Corey Durden. He has been very good lately, and I've been loving what he's been doing. Koning, good as always. Hewitt, massive goal from him. But anyways, next round we are versing Adelaide Crows. It's going to be hard, but I reckon we got it. But overall, I reckon I'm very proud of the boys, and I'm proud of how they played today, beating Geelong, which was hard. But anyways, this is what I thought about the game. Go the Blues!
No, that's next level. Come on, George.
Who are we talking about? Name and shame.
Daniel Simo.
What's his actual name?
That's what it is.
Is it
That's
Daniel
what it is.
S.
Dan S. But he's not in the
Dan S.
comments. I know he's not watching because he's not in the comments. Or if he is, he's just watching passively because he knows if he starts talking now, we'll go at him.
To our listeners, if you see Dan S in there, hammer the bloke.
All right,
He's
we're going
a
to talk.
one-eyed Collingwood supporter.
And he has no idea about football. Genuinely zero.
All
clue.
life.
All right, we got another one. We're on a roll. 4:15 p.m. Saturday, the 3rd of May, at the Adelaide Oval against the Crows. This is a matchup that has haunted us for the last 3 to 4 years. We just can't beat them. This is one of the last. I look at this team as trying to tick off mental hurdles. This is one of the last ones they need to tick off. That we cannot beat Adelaide in Adelaide. They've killed us. In at times in the season when it's mattered too, they've killed us. They killed us that Eddie had last year with Sam Berry kicking that goal in the last minute. We just have to get this done. To break the hoodoo, frank the form against Geelong, and put a stamp on the comp to say, fuck you all, come beat us.
Well, no Fogarty for them. So Darcy Fogarty
Apparently he's going to
out.
play.
Is he?
Apparently him and Phil Thorpe are getting up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
No way.
Yeah.
I thought
I read
I
that
thought
today.
Fogarty was out 100%.
Nah.
Are they both playing?
One of the players had an interview today and they said that they should both get up.
Oh, you're joking.
No, that's-
I was actually a lot more confident thinking they were both out. Anyway, irrespective of that, this is a midfield test for us.
Yeah.
And they have speed. Jules, I know you love speed in the midfield, and they have it in spades.
Isaac Rankin
Isaac
scares
Rankin.
the shit out of me.
He's actually so good.
Scares the shit out of me.
And Soligo.
Oh, yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
Very, very good player.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a very big battle in the midfield.
I'll tell you who's another one that always just decides to rock up. Ben Keys.
Oh, okay.
4 goals. If you're a betting man and you like to put on a multi, put him for 3+ this
Ben
week
Keys is actually always $1.24.
for a goal. Anyway, he is another one that we just can't seem to get under wraps. So for some reason, I don't know why, we come up against Adelaide. We just don't match up well against them historically in recent seasons.
Defensively, I feel that they have flaws though.
Yep.
I've watched them actually play a fair bit, and defensively they do struggle. They leak a lot of goals. Obviously, they can score big score.
Yep.
Yeah, that's known.
But so could Geelong.
Yeah, well, for sure. And again, our defensive profile's there. So I back us in, definitely, especially if like Fogarty's out. If they've got Fogarty out.
He's not. I'm saying he's in. Based on what I heard today, he's
so
fine.
irrespective, I think we can still match up. I think Jesus being out hurts us for this game.
But yeah, because
they are
that's a big
taller,
miss.
boys. They're a lot taller.
So does Lewis Young come in just for structure?
Oh, for structure.
Because really,
Are we gonna
Fogarty,
go ins and
Thilthorpe.
outs, or-
Well, we can start to talk
It's
about
sort of
it, but
leading into it.
Fogarty,
regardless.
Thilthorpe, Walker, 3 talls. You still need one of Gov or Haynes intercepting, at least.
I think a lot Cowan will come in.
I think
I
Coward might come in.
actually like that better, to be honest.
I think a Cowan, especially in the back half, if it was like a Harry to go down again, I reckon Lewis Young would probably get the nod in the forward half. But I think a Cowan will probably get the nod in the back half.
I would agree with that.
So Adelaide, this is their profile, right? They kick 135 against the Saints. They kick
Yeah, I'm just
100,
looking at it now, it's a
161 against Essendon,
They can kick a score,
114
Jay.
against North, 90 against the Suns in a losing effort, 100 against the Cats in a losing effort. They kick 52 against the Giants, but then they kick 67 against Freo. So I think the first month of the season they came out and blitzed the comp. They said we're going to play a style of footy that's just run and gun. We're going to outscore you. I think they've been worked out, and I'm hoping our coaching group and our analysts or whoever it is, I know that they will look at it, but they also work out whatever Freo have worked out, whatever Geelong worked out, whatever the Giants worked out to keep them to a low score. Because if you can stop them from scoring, they will still leak a score. That's what we
What's,
need.
definitely.
what's the lowest score we've kept this side to?
Lowest
Is it
was
Geelong's?
Collingwood, 63. And we still
No,
lost.
sorry, highest score.
I actually
it
think
been
it was...
Geelong?
No, I think it was Richmond.
Was it Richmond?
I actually think it was Richmond.
Against Richmond?
82. Richmond scored the most points
Yeah,
against
so
us
like,
this
all right, so Richmond scored but this is what I'm saying.
fuck,
Richmond scored the
honestly?
most points, 82. Geelong's kicked 76. So I wouldn't take Richmond. I'll take it with a bit of a grain of salt.
Yeah, well, we
Like-
were just rattled in that
Yeah,
second half.
so really, the highest is 76.
Yeah. No, I think it was still 80 against
Who?
who was round 2?
Bulldogs,
Hawthorn.
Hawthorn. Let's have a look. Round 2.
Hawthorn kicked 80.
Yeah, 80. All right, so 80 points. If we keep...
That's a high scoring team though. So really, that's
but
the
this is
profile
what I'm
of
saying.
Adelaide, yeah.
If we keep Adelaide to under 80,
I think we win.
yeah, I think we win.
Yeah. But this is
With the way,
Yeah,
with the
if
way
we
we're
keep
moving
to
the
it.
footy at the moment.
Yeah.
defensive profile, pressure, contest, territory. We do that against Adelaide, we will win the game. Simple. Because they cannot defend for the life of themselves. They don't have the defensive accountability that we have shown that we have. For me, defense beats attack every time in most sports, but particularly in football, right? As long as we don't allow the likes of a Rankin, a Keys, Rochelle, Fogarty, who's killed us at times, they're saying it's an AC joint, so he might not get up. But if he does play, someone like him, to get off the leash, I back in our tools in Wiedering, in particular, to do a job on either Walker or Thilthorpe, and I back in whoever else is going to take the second one to do a job to keep them relatively quiet. It's not the tools that get it done against us with Adelaide. It's always their smalls. It's always their runners. Keep them quiet. Keep them under 80, like you've said. We win this game. No doubt in my mind. It's just whether or not we can match up against them and do that, because we still have not done that against this team. Ins and outs. So let's assume.
So we're saying Cowan.
I think Chera plays. I think he will get.
Well, we're
get off
saying
on this.
Cowan in for
So I think
Jesus.
Silvani missing, Zach Williams missing through injury. So there's at least 2 outs. We're saying Cowan comes in for
Yeah.
Sauce.
Yeah.
Do we all agree?
Yeah.
That's what we want. What do we think is actually going to happen?
It could be a Young.
I think
But-
Young's gonna
and,
happen.
and the thing is with Young for me, I was messaging someone on the way here. I feel like as if in terms of reward for effort, I think it's I'm just putting like my coach's like hat on. Like Young did do more than just a job before he got omitted for Harry.
He did.
Offensively, but defensively, he is a
But,
liability. Like,
but he
we have to
did
be
show.
honest.
The thing is, though, in terms of his defensive attributes, obviously in defence, he hasn't shown recently, in the last year or so, in terms of what he's been able to produce when he first came to the club. But defensively, as a forward, I think he's got the knack to want to defend now, though. I think he's got that
That's a
back.
good call.
Yeah.
Jules got a couple of good calls this year. I said it the other day too. He had one the other week when he was talking about
About
when
the fitness.
Jules was talking about how we've set the coaching group would have set themselves and Walsh to get fit in the first on fire with a couple of years.
Well, you know football. Next one, Zach Williams, who comes in.
Is Fantasia ready?
No,
don't
you're not
think
going to
so.
say.
He's not.
Not Fantasia.
Sure, he has to come back
I
for
don't
the
think he's-
VFL. You'd think
he's
so.
not- exactly. He's not playing VFL.
He hasn't played a game this year.
If he's fit, I'm bringing him in.
No, but he hasn't played a
Telling
game.
you, if he's fit, I'm bringing him in.
But he hasn't played a game.
Doesn't matter. You can still bring him in. All right. So do you
So
play?
his last game would have been what?
Do you
The
play-
GWS or was it the? Did he play the VFL game
he did. Yeah, the practice game,
Yeah,
pre-season.
In pre-season.
Yeah.
yeah. So he played that, and then in between there and round one, he done his calf. So that means he's missed 2 months. So in terms of like conditioning, especially for a player like that, playing half forward, obviously you need
You
a
need
big
the-
capacity
you need
to
to
be able
play
to run.
games.
He needs games. For me, it could be an Ashton Moyer. I think he's been playing pretty well the last couple of weeks.
Not for me.
The reason why I say an Ashton Moyer, if Chera does play, I reckon I could see Ashton Moyer as a sub, and Lord comes into the 22.
Not for me.
But who else is going to come in?
Raz
Do you
still got
bring
another
Duck?
3 weeks, so it's not
Yeah,
going
no.
to
Do
It
you
won't
bring
be,
in
it
Doc?
won't be Fantasia.
Do you bring
don't
in
bring
Doc?
Doc in.
Because for me,
I might bring it- how's
I don't
this?
bring in Doc
I'll give
because
you
I
one.
need him to play 3 or 4 games
play
in the VFL.
Lord. Play Lord. Play Cooper Lord. Start him.
Yeah,
Make
you'd
Doc,
have to.
Make Doc your sub.
No, but I want Doc
Oh,
playing
hang on,
in the
having
VFL.
Doc as your sub. How many
Yeah.
times have we said that?
He played
Yeah.
sub against Richmond.
I don't
Yeah, but
think it's
you
the
don't,
right thing
you
to
don't
do.
want to
Last
have
quarter.
Doc as
I
a
think
sub.
I think
You either
culturally,
play him or you don't.
yeah, correct. And he's got to learn, not learn, probably not the right.
No, you've
but
got to not
he's
prioritise him.
No,
for-
he's got to learn to get whatever he needs back.
Well, then the only other
That's what
small,
he needs.
if it's small forward for small forward, it's Frankie Evans. He'll be the one that they call on,
Maybe.
guaranteed.
Maybe.
It won't be Moyer. He's not ready. We saw it against Collingwood. He's not ready. I don't care what anyone says. He's not
But
ready
it's
to
as
go.
a sub.
You're not playing him as a sub. You're just not. They would want.
So
a
you're
small
saying
forward.
Evans as a sub, Lord
No,
plays?
Evans would play. If it's small forward for small forward, Evans would start. He started this year. They've got trust in him.
I think Lord would. I reckon Lord would play. He'll
Why
start.
And I think in that-
Why
in-
can't Cotters play high up the ground, like as a
He will
half
play.
forward?
He
Yeah,
has been playing that.
No,
I'm
and then you
saying
play-
what I think will actually happen is that Lord will start and Doc will be sub. I'm telling you now. I can see Doc being the
I
sub.
could see
in
it
that game.
happening. I just don't think it's the right thing to do.
Whether it's the right thing or wrong thing to do, I'm not sure. I'm just saying what I think will happen. Like Jules, taking one from Jules' book. There you go. I don't know what my opinion is, but I can tell you what will happen.
I'm all about
doesn't.
facts, yeah.
usually doesn't.
Where can I get that jerky? You can get it from 3099jerky.com
Yeah, or for my stomach.
or from Jules' stomach. 3099jerky.com. It is fantastic. All right, so maybe a bit of shifting in the magnets. We don't really quite know. I think it'll only be 2 in, 2 out. I can't see us dropping anyone from that game.
No way.
No. And Chera will play. I will be shocked if Ches does not get off.
I think if you come back on, I think you
no.
play
I'm
next
talking
week.
about the suspension, not his
Oh,
injury.
sorry.
The suspension.
Yeah.
All
Are
right.
you, are you worried about the lack of depth? in that
I still am in totality on our list. I
Are
think
you,
we are
George?
maybe.
Depth in what area?
No, I think we're 2 or 3 big injuries away from being exposed a bit.
I
still.
reckon I could say that about every single side, though.
Nah, because we don't have a long injury list at the moment. It's actually quite short.
Yeah, but like, you have a look at Sydney.
Yeah, but you could say that about a lot
Like-
of teams that look average. Is I think
What you're trying
the
to say.
issue. No, it's not what he's trying to say. You're trying to say
do you
every
mean?
team will have that? I don't think so.
I think most teams, like you have a look at in terms
I
of
don't reckon
like,
GWS do.
you have a look at in
I
terms
reckon
of like
GWS has got a lot of depth.
yeah,
Brisbane,
but I reckon
won,
it depends on who they're missing though.
Brisbane won the flag with 4
So-
ACLs last year, and that was to Kitty Coleman, Lincoln McCarthy, Darcy Gardner, and
It's actually true.
and Duday, Tom Duday.
Yeah, but in terms
he
of
playing
like
it?
high-end talent, in terms of
I
high-end
think he was doing
talent,
that last year.
they
He's
wouldn't
definitely
be
on their list.
in terms of high-end talent. They wouldn't be in their best 10 or best 14.
No, we're talking.
No, but they're
it's
they're
depth.
playing every week, Jules.
Yeah, but you have a look at the likes of Melbourne where they were obviously humming. You know, they like missed May for a month. They struggled for a month.
Yeah, they did. That's true. That's
Do you
true.
understand what I'm trying to say?
I understand.
If Brisbane lost Andrews for a month, they would find it difficult.
Probably, but I'm
Yeah,
not
but we're
talking-
looking to try and replace a small forward.
Yeah, I'm not talking about if we lose Wiedering, we're fucked.
Yeah, that's
simple.
right. Wiedering, we
Small
can't
forward, you bring
Well-
pressure. Like
understand.
there's
but
a lot of
It's
players
easy to say, but
can't.
That's right,
Compared to a Weeding or an Andrews.
We're
but I
saying
still
that
think if we lose
Evans is out.
Wiedering, we're fucked.
Sorry.
I still think if we lose Wiedering, we're fucked.
Of course,
We're
yeah,
not-
but
we're gonna be within that mold.
to a lot of
yeah, but
to a lot of sides.
Wiedering's our most important
Anyway,
player.
I personally, I'm still concerned about our depth. If we lose a couple more, I genuinely am. I think this team, we need to keep like 16 of these 22 that we saw on the weekend on the park at all times.
That's what I said before.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm saying to Jules. Jules is the one that's
Wiedering's
questioning.
our most important player.
He's one of, yeah.
You lost it. Go to my segment.
No, give me a prediction first. You got a question? He's just texted me. Go, quickly.
Well, it's a bit of a one to all three of you guys. Draft, acquire, or delist. I don't know if I've asked you this before.
Oh,
Joe.
you have
Yeah.
So and it's kind of builds what you're saying, boy, who's the most important. Out of Cripper, Weeders, and Kerno, you can choose to draft one, acquire one as a free agent, or delist one.
Who is it? Cripps?
Cripps, Kerno, and Wiedering.
Cripps, Kerno, Wiedering, draft, acquire, delist. Do your segment. Think about it. We'll finish the show with it.
Wow.
Before we get to your segment,
Easy for me.
prediction.
Carlton by 35.
Come close to the mic.
Carlton by 35.
Can't buy 15.
Take it to the bank.
You're going to say Adelaide, aren't you?
Oh, I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say Adelaide. I think we'll win in a very close one. I think it's going to be like 5 points. I think we're just going to get over the line if we get over the line this week. It's going to be it'll be a nail biter. All right, you haven't done this for a couple of weeks.
Keep calm. Count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10.
Not happy, Jen!
Last week, you're trying to do Steve from not Super Walk, what's it called? Wogboy. Yeah, you Steve, my neck.
Say it on the mic, Jordan.
Isn't it? Yeah, that's funny. I'm
The
gonna
segment
in the
is
car park, in the car
back.
park.
I'm going to leave mine. I'm going to put that right there. Easy.
The segment is back.
Easy Travel neck pillows. AIRZE. Easy Travel. You can see these neck pillows here. I'm traveling in 3 or 4 weeks' time. I'm wrapped that I've got an Easy because they're not comfortable.
Now, as you all know, I actually don't use a neck pillow, but I went away,
Ah, did you take it?
used it.
Ah,
Yeah.
all right. Give us a review.
Unbelievable.
There you go.
I felt like I was in bed.
5 stars.
Hey,
No,
zoom-
no joke.
No, I like that. Zoom in on him. That's good.
I
Just go
genuinely-
Dan. Just Dan.
Yeah, they don't think I'm a midget now. I literally used it on the plane. It was ridiculously comfortable,
Yeah.
like bed.
You can literally,
quality.
you can just keep your neck in that spot. Hey, that's it.
You don't even need to move it because it sits there nicely.
And did you wake up with like a sore neck afterwards? Or
Zero.
was, yeah. Jules, how are you feeling? He's going to fall asleep. His eyes already
Jules hasn't
closed.
slept in 4 days.
I genuinely don't need. I actually haven't. Nah.
What?
Nah. To be honest with you, I can. You know me. You know me
He's
well.
almost broke the chair.
You boys know me well. I can sleep genuinely anywhere.
You can.
You know me.
Jules, I'll give
You
you,
know
something.
me.
I'll tell you something.
But
Jules slept.
imagine how you'd sleep with that on.
Oh,
Joe.
it's inspirational. But
We're watching we're in Europe and we're watching Croatia someone in the fan zone and Jules is asleep.
half
Under the
time,
Eiffel Tower.
Under the Eiffel Tower. I'm like, you know what? Half time, I'm gonna cark it.
Jordan,
So I
that's a
slept.
fact.
I reckon there would have been tens and thousands of people there.
Where is it?
Half time, woke up as soon as the second half started. Unbelievable.
Easy Travel, head to, I think it's easytravel.com. I'll try and get this in front of
Anyway,
me.
I used it and it was really good. So I recommend you get it.
Focus us in, Jordan. There you go. Easy Travel, AIRZE travel.com. Get your easy neck pillows. I can't wait to travel in 4 or 5
Look for the
weeks to
accessibility,
London.
yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Just to try this out. So they are sponsoring Dan's segment for the next 4 weeks. You don't have to wear the neck pillow while you do this. It was just it's to show it off. But they're sponsoring the segment, which is not Happy Dan. Take us away and close out the show.
All right. Well, how's this? On my travels, I was coming home, and I didn't realise something. Now we went to go get the suitcase to go home.
So on the way back.
On the way back, I told Jules.
Yeah.
So on the way back, we're going to get the suitcases. Okay, I can touch you if I want to. You have to pay. You know, luggage carriers. They
the
charge
trolleys.
you.
No shit.
No, they charge you $5. I'm sorry.
Did you know this?
No.
I knew that.
I mean, I never used
I
them.
knew that.
I'm sorry. That's a joke. I went to go use one because we had like 11 suitcases between like
Yeah.
all the family, whatever. So we thought, well, we're all going to the same thing. I'll go get one of the luggage carriers. $5. I'm sorry. That's a joke. Well, you don't think
I knew
that's
that.
stupid?
I knew that. How did
Oh,
you
do you
not
think
know
it's
this?
wrong?
I'm going to ask you both a question. How many times have you travelled?
Okay, how's this? Do you think it's...
Have you used it though?
I've never used it because I knew it costed money.
Exactly.
I mean-
So I'm saying it's a disgrace.
Even if
can't
it
take
was
you
free, I don't
seriously
even know
with
if I
that
would
on.
use it. I wouldn't use it.
Well,
No one
different when
used-
No, but when you got a kid, makes it easier.
I didn't use it.
So why did you ask then?
What do you mean?
Why did you have to use it?
I didn't. I went over to go and grab it, realised you couldn't use it until you paid. You had to pay $5. Do you know the only time you don't pay? International.
Yeah, correct.
Domestic, you pay.
No way.
Yep.
They support the.
Actually, that I didn't know. I thought you still had to pay international.
Absolute
No way.
bullshit.
There you go.
Domestic, you pay in your own country. They make you pay.
All right. Is that it?
Done.
Another one that fell flat.
What happens when an international person is
Hey,
flying?
the fact that I've got something every week, shut up.
is domestic. What happens when an international person is flying domestic?
Oh, it's not about international person. Because you're from fucking Greece doesn't mean you can't use it.
Oh, shit. All right. We're going to finish with Jordan's question. We're going to finish. Draft, acquire, delist.
I can't believe what Jules said.
Kerno, Cripps, Wiedering. Draft, acquire, delist. Go on. To finish off. Oh, no, it's so dumb. It's all like it's international students at uni that pay different
going
fees. and that.
domestic.
That's fucked. Jules, draft, acquire, delist. Cripps, Kerno, Wiedering.
So what's the first one? Draft.
Draft.
I'll draft Cripps.
Yep. Acquire. Your Kerno and Wieders left.
Sorry, no. Let me rephrase that. I will draft Wiedering,
Yeah.
acquire Cripps.
It's your delist Charlie.
You can't say
Yeah,
it.
delist
yeah.
Charlie.
The same as
The
Jules.
same?
Yeah.
Draft. Wiedering. Yeah, fuck. Acquire Cripps.
It is.
Delist
That's what we all said.
Charlie, you
Yeah.
can't delist
Is that what
Why
you
is
would
Cripps.
say?
copying,
George?
why is copying me for?
No, you're
Yeah,
right.
George?
I was similar. So not to be too philosophical about it, but in this team defense age that we live in, Wiedering is
You
probably
need a
the
key
most-
defender.
Is the most important player that sets up your whole base.
Thank you.
And you could argue, especially how Collingwood are playing, that a key forward's almost a luxury.
True. That's a very good point.
You know,
Well, I mean, they got my check, but he's not.
but he's a
not Charlie.
B grade, key forward at best. But he's done an excellent job for them.
True.
Well,
That was a good
I've
one. I
been
didn't
doing
mind
an
it.
excellent job too. If I've
Actually,
got,
really good by George.
if
Good,
I've
he's
got
offered
Nate
value
Dacos moving
always.
down
I
my
actually
throat.
like this.
He has offered value all week.
George, I like this little.
I know what he's trying to set up, and don't
You
fucking
can't
fall
afford
for
me,
it.
Dan.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
$100, George.
We are finishing the episode there. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Until then, up the bangers.
Bangers, come on,